Let's call the meeting to order. The Scituate Council on Aging on Thursday, December 12th. Welcome all. Like we do a quick round as we always do of introductions. I'm Dave Miller, chair. I'll go to Linda, my right.
Linda, oh, okay, Linda Hayes Kelly, director.
I Linda, I was finished something. You don't want to have something else on my mind.
Yes.
Okay.
Jessica Zuki, assistant director.
Dee Dwyer, board member. Laurie Brady, board member. Leslie James, board member.
Kenzie Vanderbrook. I'm a new board member of South Shore Elder Services.
Welcome, Kenzie, and we will get to your bigger welcome, but thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Susan Pope, board member. Pat Compton, board member. Susan Drevich Kelly, vice chair.
Welcome all. Before we take a look at last month's minutes, I think Dee, thank you very much. Who's tonight's secretary?
This is what we're,
Who did they decide?
I can't believe, I thought I had done it more than once a year, maybe I did it in March,
Maybe.
in October.
So is it
So
Pat?
one, two,
You're jumping in?
Three.
Well, I'd rather not, but if have to, I will.
Need paper?
What's that?
You need paper.
You need paper? Oh,
Well, you decide.
no. Oh, well, Pat, if you can do it, that'd be great.
Okay. Could I have some?
So you're saying yes,
So
please.
say,
And if everyone could take a look at the November minutes.
And it should be said that Dee had delivered them and mailed them to me, certainly in plenty of time. I just forgot to attach them to the first message, so I know you didn't get them till today. And, but they're very readable.
Yes, they're very readable.
I didn't pick up on anything, so.
Just one spelling mistake. Courtyard tea room
On page
on the second page,
1, 2.
about a third of the way down. Must be a
Under
trip,
which
yeah.
category?
Oh, yeah.
Where is it?
Oh,
Under
Team, yay, team.
Yeah.
courtyard,
Well,
courtyard.
you know, it's that auto spell thing, keeps
Right,
adding
right, right.
letters.
So no M.
It should be courtyard T. Right.
Yeah, someone needs to update auto spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes up with
Words that
down
don't
what I
even
said.
exist. Right here. T. Oh.
Good catch, Walter. I wouldn't have found it, but that's what
I like the way, Dee, that you made this little note here for more specific information, please refer to. That's a great,
Jess.
it's a great idea, that way we don't have to have this big, long series and have every single word that was uttered, yeah.
I think that would be.
Yeah,
And
is it-
Pat did it, and Pat
Okay.
had done it.
No, the way you, I guess I didn't notice it because you have it separated out in italicized.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, it's a great idea.
Yeah, thank you.
Motion to
accept?
Keep that
Anyone else have
format.
anyone else have any other edits to the minutes? We will correct team room to tea room on page 2, thank you. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes?
Motion to accept.
And a second. Bless you.
God bless.
Very good, thank you. And Linda, we'll turn it over to you.
Well, I am going to actually let Lucille, who's
Oh,
here
oh,
as the
right,
staff
I beg your
person.
pardon.
Absolutely. So our social day program coordinator, Lucille, is here with us graciously. So we're gonna let her do it.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, oh, yeah, sorry about that.
I thought you did that.
Yeah,
I didn't do the agenda well.
I should have known that.
Okay,
You did.
appreciate that. So hi, everybody, I was here last time, I'll just go over briefly what we're gonna talk about, and here's a little more detail, okay? The social day is in good health and happy and, full, we have, 16 participants.
How many?
16, 8 each day, Monday and Wednesday. And what happened was we had some that only came 1 day a week, so they wanted to get 2 days a week, so 3 moved into that slot. And I think there's still 2 more. We don't have room for them yet, but they want to have full participation. I just go over my notes a little bit here. Also, I think there is a wait list from the community.
There is.
Oh, wow, okay.
Well, actually, I mean, it's good and bad news, but it's, the word is spreading.
The word is spreading.
The word is spreading that this is a wonderful program that you're,
It definitely is spreading, yeah. We expanded our programming, so I got into a little trouble yesterday, but here's the story. We've expanded our exercise and movement, and so we went to, and I'll tell you what we have in the background, but we're now doing for eye-hand coordination, we're doing magnetic darts, we're doing the cornhole competition, we have bowling, a little bowling set. Oh, sorry.
where do you do bowling?
We do it in the big room, in the game,
Oh.
in the room where they do the,
Age
type,
room.
where they do the.
Fitness.
Yeah, fitness, right. And when I have helpers, like the BC boys, they were great, but we do it, we have that. We also, hand coordination, we've got a thing going with marbles, they're wonderful. But also, I just put in, we just put in, weights, 1 pound and 2 pound weights, and, they seem to like it. We went slowly, but we're gonna introduce that, we've introduced that already. And besides that, we do have, we use the game room for shuffleboard. Linda comes and does Tai Chi for us once a month, which we love. Nice job, she's great. What else?
It's perpetually the introduction.
I know, but that's okay. We're enjoying it.
It's nice.
Clearly you keep people active with
Yeah.
weights, with shuffleboard, with,
I know.
which is good.
And I know you saw us, we have another game, it's so silly, but it's like tennis with a noodle and a balloon.
Yeah, right. And everybody was roaring laughing,
Yeah.
just roaring laughing.
So we do have a good time, it's great. So anyway, I think the weights are gonna work out, but we need our own weights now, I can't be borrowing other weights. I never thought anybody would look for the 1 pounder, but I guess.
I know, funny.
Okay, so anyway, we're extending the movement program. I will say though that, music and dance trumps everything, especially when I put on Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. They've got great moves and we do a lot of dancing too, so I
Is anyone
try
doing
to get,
it?
oh yes, oh no, no. Anyway, so that's the movement, that's the programming, and then, last time I came, I was concerned about community involvement, and that's slowly coming together. We have every month Bridges of Epic, they're a, memory care. Oh, I just wanna say, she's taking notes?
Yeah.
You don't have
It's
to.
all.
Yeah, you
It's
can
all
tell it
here.
here.
Oh,
Sorry.
It's all here.
I'm doing the highlights, but they're the fun
Just
things.
do highlights and then have them refer to, just like you do.
Yeah, so Epic, Bridges of Epic, which is it's a memory impaired community.
Whole community, yeah.
They come once a month and they do some sort of program for us, but it's good because, they called and they gave us, a referral, but somebody that found them through us, they have a referral. So that's how it works in the community. But we've also, I found some people that will come and do a craft for us or do a program, sort of make work with that. There's someone in the,
I think it's great that you got bridges involved.
oh yeah, they're wonderful, and they come every month.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, we have a family member who is from Argentina, and she puts on wonderful presentations for them. And, she's coming back again, so she's done about 3. So that is happening. We have someone from the,
I just,
Yeah.
it says we have had 3 field trips. Is that from the woman that's from Argentina?
no,
Okay,
she
separate
comes and
thing,
does
okay.
programs here.
Okay.
Okay, and, so anyway, it's working as far as community. We had someone come in who is in the art program the other day, and sometimes these things work, sometimes they don't, but I think that's another way of getting the word out,
Absolutely.
you know, letting them know.
The other thing is I was gonna ask, just in terms of programming, is the whole concept of intergenerational. Is that,
We haven't come to that yet, I
Okay.
haven't, but, we could do that. The only thing I work with is BCI.
I mean, there could be like a nursery school
Yeah.
type age group that could come in for something at some point.
Yeah, that would,
I know
sure.
the Board of Urban across the street, they approached me last year. They never came to anything, but they were looking for ideas and ways
Oh.
to partner, because they're right across the street.
Sure. That's
It's
good.
more the time, or the other schools, it's more the timing of when kids can be outside.
Of the day, right?
yeah, I mean, I don't know what it would be, but it would be.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I know even when my parents, I mean, they were, they were in assisted living, but they loved it when they had like, let's say pen pals that then came and they had cookies and tea and, just, I mean, there's
Sure.
something about this bringing the young and the old together that's very uplifting.
Definitely. We've had some wonderful pets come, somebody who
Yeah,
went there
that's
money
good
and
too.
they love the pets,
Yes.
they're my little dog once in a while, so, but I'll work on that.
Yeah, it's just an
Thank you for
idea.
that idea, that's great. So that's the community involvement, it's coming, it's getting there. As far as the senior center, anything that's going on and it works within our time frame, we will go down. Monday, there's a musical concert we want to go down to, it's at 1:00. I think on the 30th is the band, so, sort of get them involved that way. Floss had a sale the other day, last week, and we walked through it, and then there was a book there. So, and one thing I do want to say, we did have someone call in sick the other day, and I was panicking, and the next thing you know, your staff is wonderful, our staff is wonderful.
Oh, yes.
They just get in there and help in any way they can.
Mhm.
So very, very fortunate that way. Okay, so that's what how we get involved with the senior center. On the attrition, since February, we had 3 members leave the program. 2 needed a higher level of care, and 1 of them passed away. We have had some come in and try, and we actually had 3. Linda, we have a trial day, or 1 or 2 days. Sometimes it doesn't work. We do collaborate. There are 3 of us that collaborate now, and it's good. So, so right now, it's full. And I thought, we have a gentleman that's moving to Linden Ponds, and I thought, well, there'll be an opening coming. No, sir. His wife said to me, oh, no, she said,
She's gonna bring them over?
she said, I say to him, we're going to the senior center, and he gets dressed right away, and he comes over. So that's good, and so they'll commute. Right, but.
So what is you said that there were several people that had a trial date and that it didn't work out. What is it? Is
You
it
know what,
that they're too much
sometimes,
in need of?
I'll be honest, sometimes the caregiver needs that break more than anything, but the person doesn't want to come.
Oh, interesting.
They don't want to be here,
Yeah, that has to be.
I believe that. I think
Yeah.
that we have cases like that,
they don't want to be here.
Interesting.
Or sometimes they're just too compromised,
That they,
we find that out, or you take them down to the dining room and there are issues there. So, but we give them a couple of days to try out. So that's the
Interesting.
only reason, and and we keep an eye on everything.
Even the couple that have sort of advanced out, you're kind of expecting it but not seeing it for a while, and then it's just one incident maybe that happens, it's just, it's
Yeah.
time.
And those that needed a higher level of care, I think it's just like when you start with a 1 assist or a 2 assist in ambulation.
Right.
That's not where
We
we're at
need to
here.
be.
Yeah.
Right, so,
And you've got how many other people helping?
we have another volunteer, so it's, the ratio is
4
4 to 1. And believe me, you need those, you need the 2 of us.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely,
Oh, yeah.
You probably could use a third.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and sometimes there's a guest facilitating an activity, so that is a third, I know.
But, the 2 of us do well. We do fine, so.
We have a few new volunteers that
Mhm.
are stepping in. So.
Yeah, and speaking of volunteers, I have that at the end, but I'll say it right now, great news, great news. Right now, we have, there are 3 that started with, or 2 started with the program, 1 came a little bit later, but they're very dedicated. But sometimes, they go down to Florida or whatever, it's been a little hassle, some have to take 3 times in 1 month instead of 2. Well, anyway, lo and behold, there are 3 people that work here in the kitchen, and they wanted to try the activities, and to try the program, and, one of them jumped in the other day and was perfect, and had a very good time, so we will have 6 now that we could.
Ultimately, that's awesome. That's beautiful.
It's a gift, it really is, and they're very happy to be here, and they're connecting very much with the participants, so.
Good.
Yeah, that's the happy news, that's good news. And, as far as, talked about attrition, I talked about the interview process, Kelly will make the phone call, or Linda, and we sit down with the family and the participant, and then we give them a trial, a couple of days, to try and see how they like it, and then they sign up, so that's how it works. But one of the other things we do is really keep an eye on any decline or any change that we might see in the behavior of the person, and then we discuss it again. And I would say another thing that's so lovely, the families are very, very grateful for the program. They just cooperate, they tell us, he's on a new medication, keep an eye, or he's sleeping a lot. And anyway, there's very good communication between the families and our staff. So that's a nice thing too.
And so when it comes time, if somebody doesn't get into the program or they need to leave the program, the family is, have you ever gotten
Yeah, well,
any
I'll tell you
pushback?
something. One of the family members said to me, we know what's going on, and she said, I think he might be with you rather maybe just another year. She told me, because we see the decline.
So
Yeah.
that's good. It's bad, it's sad,
It's
but it's
sad,
good
but
that
we see it coming,
that the
and
family member is.
there's no surprises,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's.
Lucille, where do most of your referrals come from? From the families or from physicians?
No,
or-
where the participants come from,
Mm.
mostly Scituate, but we have some from Norwell.
No,
I
Like,
mean,
do
it's
the
word of
families-
mouth, it's
Oh,
just sort of
how do we get-
publicity.
yeah.
I think it's word of mouth, it really is, I think so.
We're not doing a lot of I mean, we
Yeah,
do,
we're
but.
sold out, so you
Yeah.
can't.
They hear about it different ways.
And sometimes staff knows of
Yes.
someone, and they tell them, and that helps too, so we get a lot more data on.
Well, funny enough, for the first time, we have 2 people on the wait list who are married, and it's just crazy, sad, but they would both like to, the daughter would like to have them both be able to come. We'll see.
So one of your biggest challenges I can see is storage.
Oh, yes, they never thought about storage, I use the shower.
I know you do, because when
Like,
my
you wanna
grief
take a
group is
shower?
here and they go into go to the bathroom and stuff.
They don't need the shower, that's.
They don't need the
We
shower.
will work on that, yeah.
Yeah. That's, I know, it's a shame
It
looking
is.
backward that somehow, one of the people in my grief group was suggesting, and I'm just gonna throw this out because it just came into my head again, I almost forgot, is to actually, even if there was a way to build like storage cabinets, like, almost like a bench that would come out. My son and daughter-in-law actually have it in their playroom. It comes out from the wall, it's low, so it's like a bench that someone could sit on, but there is storage cabinets underneath. and you could actually put it against this whole
You
wall,
could even get some rollers and move, be able to move around.
or even that.
But what did you say?
We could even get some, you know, an IKEA and be able to move it around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that would be more likely, that's.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
the built-ins, I mean, you know, we try to maximize the room space to make sure
Yeah.
we can.
It was just, it's just an
No, we
idea,
can
you know,
store it.
because, I mean, there is, you know, even up here, it could be, or
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that. Just, you know, because I believe me, I know, because I get a lot of my stuff shoved into one of the closets, but you have a whole lot more stuff than I do. Balls and tambourines and
Sharon's
Yeah,
getting
closet
noodles
design.
and everything else, you never know what you're gonna find in the
Well,
shower.
we're really managing, and sometimes I bring it home, I come with a little suitcase
Yeah,
sometimes,
I
I
know,
don't
it's
want
fun.
to carry stuff, you know.
So was the shower built as better to have it than need it later, not have it?
Oh, yeah.
If there was an extended power outage
Uh,
or whatever?
Anything can happen, you know, there could be any kind of accident.
Well, we planned on one shower because that's required if you are a shelter.
Yeah.
And we didn't know if we might need to be a shelter at some point, but then he had room for the second shower and so he put it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, there was
Women.
two
We don't
showers?
really, I mean, obviously. we
There's a
don't
shower
use
now
it.
in the handicap bath.
I didn't even know. Okay. Learn something
They're not
new.
used, there may come a day, but
Yeah.
No, I think it's a great idea, because there could be an accident even in the
Yes.
kitchen, where
Right.
you need to take,
well, that's,
Good.
yeah,
you know, wash somebody off.
has been that.
Yep.
Having worked in a chemistry lab.
So,
Sue, you
again,
said that there were 16 participants, it's like 16 slots, but
there's
like
eight,
12
eight,
people.
eight
Eight
is
plus eight.
capacity.
Well, actually, I think we're actually at 10 participants, some of whom go
Right,
2 days.
okay,
yeah.
So 16 slots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've been playing that because we wanted to have as many spots as possible, but then we had a couple of openings. And instead of not filling them and not having a full, you know, quorum, which is more fun for them, then we allowed some.
Well, we always make the
Good time.
decision with
Yeah.
Kelly and all that, sometimes, you know, sometimes they just connect with someone else, and,
In the group?
yes,
Yeah.
and, you know, and
Just
so,
helpful to all of them.
well, if I wanna come a second day and be with that person, rather than take someone that is different, you know, from the community, so it works, it works.
I mean, that's another element that's actually fantastic, that they're forming
Oh.
friendships within the group.
Yep.
You know, they cheer each other on, which I think is so terrific. And I had one woman, I knew she, you know, she took her hazard, and I knew she'd never bowled in her life. And she said, I've never bowled in my life. And somebody else said, some gentleman, he's such a love, and he said, oh, I'll be with you, I'll show you how to bowl. She bowls now, you know? So, they're
refined.
very supportive, that's the exciting thing about it, the buddies. So, that's all I have to say, I don't wanna take any more time. Anybody have any other questions?
But-
It's not working. I'm sorry to,
It was great, Lucille.
okay, thank you very much.
Does anybody,
Any other questions?
does anybody have any questions?
That's your time, that's your time.
That's Frank, he wants a date, I can't go out with him right now. Frank Sinatra. Anything else?
No, I mean, I asked,
Is everyone coming from Scituate or elsewhere?
Actually, we have, you know, they're mostly Scituate, I'd say, mostly Scituate.
Norwell, Cohasset,
Now Linden Ponds is coming over.
Yeah.
couple from Norwell, maybe even 3.
Great. Yeah, great.
But we're full.
All right, Lucille.
Thank you very much, everybody, have a good night, and Merry Christmas.
yeah,
Do I
yeah,
leave you
yeah,
to
yeah.
your stand if-
I'm sure I'll see you in the queues.
Yes, of course.
All right,
Thank you.
okay,
Linda.
so, all right, well, happy December, Merry Christmas season. We're trying to be very festive here at the senior center just
No,
because
I
it
love your
felt,
sweater.
it felt right. I don't know, we're well decorated, just started it early with, for the knitters or even the Foss Fair in November, so we just kept it up and
They're very attractive.
we actually
Very
went from
good.
having one lousy tree and a cute little pencil tree to having like
A
4
Charlie Brown, I
trees.
mean a Charlie Brown tree.
No,
what
we
I
got
mean.
some donations that really, if they,
Good
maybe
stuff.
we don't need them.
I think it's great
But it
because,
is great.
you know, I mean, a lot of people, you know, that come here probably don't have decorations in their home. You know,
It's true.
They can't afford it, or if they're living alone and they just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
really like the sled, walking in.
Yeah,
The
that
what?
was great. The
When
sled,
you walk in the foyer,
leading up
the
at
sled.
the
Yeah.
entrance.
Oh, well, that was very nice, because Kelly actually won that with the downtown, you know, the wreath contest
Oh,
from
wow.
Goodies, and she brought it here. It was
Wow.
very nice.
That's good.
That
And I
was
love the
best one.
floral design and the planter outside.
Yeah.
Yes,
Don't
that's
look at
Jean
me.
Yan, I know, it could have been
Jean.
Leslie, but it's Jean Yan, she
It was
basically
Jean.
did.
Oh, okay.
She's our elf, definitely.
Just
Well, they
on
both
topic,
are.
on outside, where it has the Scituate, sign out front, is there nobody putting lights? It's kind of dark, they should pull it.
You know,
on
I
the
feel like that came up, that did come up with us, and we could use a spotlight there.
Yeah,
Right at the entrance on First
Yeah.
Parish.
yeah.
We will soon have daffodils, right?
It's probably only a couple months of the year that you would notice it, but.
True, but that is a good suggestion, which I think
Yeah, I
had
did
come up
notice
before,
that
so I'm
turning, yeah,
sorry.
it's really
I
dark.
forgotten.
Just trying hard not to
Spotlight
go
on the
over the-
sign. Anyway, it's been busy, but nice, I will say. 50-ish new members, we still have use in the building, not only at night, but a couple of, the bus drivers, we let them come in and do their training, you know, AARP has done their training now some days, leading up to their coming back for the tax prep, so, you know, we certainly wanted to accommodate. We do have Etrusco coming in this Friday, tomorrow, actually, for their Christmas luncheon, which they've done the last few years, and also, the Scituate Police Annual Christmas Luncheon is now a week from tomorrow, the 20th. So, you know, we've become the host for them. They used to do it at the Congregational Church and kind of was their own thing. But now it's here and Fred's cooking and, you know, we do it all and they come and they serve, which is very nice, and they do pay for it.
Was it always a senior luncheon,
It's always been a senior luncheon.
even when they had it the other place?
Yes, yes. And that was done, well, at that time, it was really done by their church volunteers. Oh, I'm sorry, there was every Thursday it was done by their church volunteers, the police did their own thing, but they did it there, and it was always senior. So we've had a lovely exhibit, and we just had a nice reception last night despite the crazy weather, so we thought maybe we should cancel, but honestly, people came out for these lovely ladies, whose artwork we love, so that's been a really nice exhibit, which they all have been, but then you get a new one and you think, wow, this is great. And we're excited about the next, artist photographer. His name's Bart Blomberg, he's from Hull. So he's actually going to probably be up January through March, because the middle school can't do March, so we needed to either extend it or find somebody else for a month. But he's great, he's gonna be, one of his images will be on the newsletter cover, and there will be a reception for him on January 16th. We did also, and Lucille didn't mention, but I had signed the two of us up just because I've always wanted to see this woman, Teepa Snow, who's well known in the Alzheimer's.
Great.
And I'd never seen her, I'd wanted to for
Yeah.
over 10 years, you know, and so they did have a virtual conference that you could register for. Through the Cape Cod Alzheimer's Association, I think, but. So, I mean, I didn't get to see the whole thing, but I did tune in. Kelly actually was able to see more of it, and Lucille saw some of it too, so. It's all beneficial when you just get to hear somebody and see what she's trying to convey, which is mostly about how to communicate with people who are, you know, who are becoming more limited in their cognitive, you know,
Yep, how to
interactions.
approach
So,
them, where your eyes should be, where your head should be.
I mean, everybody is different, so anyway, it was valuable and nice. I would have liked to have seen the whole thing, but it was long. Our Veterans Luncheon was successful back in November, but I think I may have even mentioned that at the last meeting. We did celebrate our sort of one on-site centenarian, Ilana Theo, last Friday. And we did have some of her cohorts from the Scrabble and others that knew her were able to join. So it was a nice small little thing, and normally it is smallish and often in the home, but it was nice that her daughter Anne could bring her out and bring her here. And the nameplates are engraved, so they're up on the plaque, so it's updated. So everybody's on there that we've been able to contact anyway. And then I had wanted to mention, so just something I have been thinking of and we've been sort of trying to do in other ways, but entertainment and having something maybe off the usual schedule, but I love this Driftway Jazz Band that does play downtown in the harbor for First Fridays. They're always usually at the Front Street Art Gallery, but then they also had played out in the patio during the warmer weather at Chopsticks and Forks, so they're really very good. 6 or 7 of them. So anyway, I've got them for Sunday, February 16th for like a Sunday brunch, which is just a nice, I don't know, I think it's a nice idea. I hope it's a nice idea, I think it would be. And I didn't know if, because it is off the schedule for staff to really sort of all plan on having them all here. And, you know, the friends might be willing, they certainly have said they would pay for the entertainment, which is nice of them, but I didn't know if the board might wanna be involved in helping to sort of do this, helping the staff, helping me.
Yeah.
So, it could be fun, okay? And then the idea may be that we do something a little different or unique each month. So we might have a Friday, well, March is perfect for a Friday Irish session, so that might be on a 4 to 6
Okay.
time frame, you know, before people go downtown. And then another, you know, could be a daytime thing. But so we could vary it, we have plenty of entertainers and musicians that love to come here, but just maybe we need to shake it up a little bit and not have it at 1 o'clock on a Tuesday. So, we'll give this a try.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
So how long would that, what would it be like, just approximately, you don't know
I guess
that?
I'm saying 12 to 2.
Something like that.
I mean, they'd probably play for an hour or something, take a break and play again.
And who would make the brunch?
Fred and maybe Amy, I don't know if he spoke to her about it, but he did sign
Come on
on.
Sunday.
I mean, brunch, you know, when it comes to some meals, I mean, he needs to have a maximum because, well, then he said, well, frittata, it's hard to do frittata for 140. So would it be 110, 20? That's probably at least what I'd like to be able to say. Who knows, if we'd sell it out, we might not. But a little bit is dependent on what he wants to cook and what he can do for a number.
So do you want to try to actually form a committee for these monthly,
Sure, we could do that, yeah.
social?
Sure. We could invite somebody from the friends that they'd like and staff. Sure, that'd be great.
Yeah,
So whoever's interested, I can put it out, I'll put it out in an email, we'll
Yeah.
set the time. After, well, January, I would say, okay?
In January, February newsletter is gonna be put together soon, huh?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
we
together.
have- yeah, and Susan had it. Mary Ann's.
And also, just so our interviewing does, luckily, I guess, or nicely, it is continuing next week. We have a few more candidates. We just worked hard to try to hone the job description a little bit better than we were posting, to reprioritize some of the technical needs and responsibilities that we want that person to be able to come in with, to be able to pick up things like the newsletter. So we reposted a little differently, and we've got a couple more that seem promising, so we will see. And we had notified the previous applicants or interviewees that we were still continuing, so you know, a couple of them were also viable in a sense. But so that's been a lot, and then I will just say I have the budget, the narrative, and the budget that I had turned in, so I am passing it on. I had, you know.
Okay, not in this packet for a
Not
second.
in the packet, there was, I decided to just print out the whole thing instead of being selective for you guys, so, take a copy, and I'll sort of go over what I do with it, and, I did present it, of course, to the select board and the advisory board. I mean, they read it beforehand, and there is a very strict format to follow for this, so it's not pretty, it's not really that easy to read either. But, the narrative starts with, you know, any goals and objectives that sort of I decide based on, and this time based on what we put together both in the accreditation. I may have gone back to look at kind of the age-friendly action plan and just other items that we've talked about needing to do. But for the most part, I try to look at the different areas that that we've talked about working on anyway. I guess they remain very similar sometimes in terms of community outreach, how to attract and support different cohorts if we think we might be missing them, and making the center as welcoming and as efficient, operational as possible. So that's where those come from. So community awareness activities and opportunities. And I mean, honestly, it was just something I threw out with the idea that, like the library doing their summer outdoor programs in the back, which is a nice use of their space in the warm weather. I just had that thought. So this doesn't have to be performed specifically as I've mentioned it here, but of course, the first thing noted was, well, we better make sure it's not, that it's in keeping with the limitations we have with our abutters. So of course, it's not necessarily meant to be outdoors, loud music all the time, it was just an idea, whether it's more bocce, whether it's some entertainment like we did with Fred and the Billy and the Goats, or just some patio outdoor use. Open house activities, which we've talked about, should be more regular or annual at least. Information opportunities to the younger senior demographics, we've talked about just, more easing them into sort of the retirement and information for them, if that's what they're thinking about. And some of them come anyway, and some people might still be working and would like that kind of information to ease them in, so that could be evening programming. And I know we've talked about this, and especially with Pat, so the idea of grandparents raising grandchildren, which we continue to hear. So, again, just trying to target some cohorts, and that's something that you might wanna be
One thing,
involved with.
and just as an idea here, I mean, I know at St. Mary's, they started a grandparents prayer group, and I only mention it because that's already a given group of people
Yeah.
that are grandparents that are obviously looking for support and that kind of thing, so that, maybe
Well, and years ago, I knew that they had something at the school, so I had thought maybe we could team up with them, or at least let them know we would be doing something here. So there's lots of opportunity, I think, it could be great. Policies and resources, just to make this continually welcoming, and also financially feasible, so just looking at ways to ensure that people are able to take advantage of what we're trying to offer. Any grant opportunities, obviously, as we become a little bit more able to look at them. Jess, of course, with her new role, will be able to look at more of the technology, sort of bigger picture, I guess, and starting with my senior center and making sure that we're using that to its optimum availability. So some of that in terms of how we do our data entry, how, let's say, Kelly could enter the services that she provides, and that's always been a little tricky. So working with my senior center, hopefully, if they can help refine some of what they're offering. Transportation, of course, is coming out with the new component, so that'll take some new training, I think, for all of us. Jess will also take over the senior text work-off program. And then electronic communication and marketing options, and that's an ongoing thing, of course, but more regular, as we've talked about. Social media, as well as print, as well as just information in general. And I think some of that, having come out of the accreditation, is just how to report really to the community all the time what's happening here. It could be through the newsletter, it could be through the website, it could be another website. So just different ways that we can communicate with really the whole town. And then outreach, generally speaking, outreach. And Kelly's interested. I mean, we started the age-friendly. It's really our last year to complete the 5-year action plan items. So we've accomplished quite a bit, actually, whether intentionally or just because that's what we would ordinarily have looked at. I don't have the report with me, but and then also dementia-friendly, which we really, haven't fully jumped into in terms of what the initiative really requires, but of course there's the social day program, but there's more that we could be doing that I think we'll continue to look at. So hopefully it's spread out a little bit. Sometimes I've gone overboard, and sometimes this could seem like too little, but I don't think so.
Have you had participants that are in wheelchairs?
Oh, well, we do have a few, not a tremendous number, but we do have a few
So
that come
it's
in.
been tried and true
So
for
the access
accessibility?
is, I mean, they come in for lunch. Well, Wayne, I don't know if
Right,
Wayne was
Wayne
around, but, no, there are others. Certainly walkers are becoming a little bit more prevalent, it seems, and a couple of wheelchairs I can think of. I mean, they can get on the van too, obviously,
And
we
lots
can
of trains.
transport them, but coming in here, yeah, the access is available. So then I do, I talk about the personnel, but about our personnel. And the major program areas and program support, mostly that's about how it might be funded, so that's something you can read on later. But because the budget generally from the town supports the building, and I will keep going for that, so we have had sort of the same budget and the same budget items, if you wanna even turn past I'll come back to the narrative, but if you turn all the way to, it says page 271 on the handout. So our line items for the town involve obviously the staff salaries. And so that number, even though there's another handout for that, is, actually,
We got 408.
well, the number for the salaries, for instance, the total salaries is 363, you can see that. And then, under that are the line items, more or less for the building, for repairs and maintenance, for rentals and leases, for
Okay.
support services, which generally what we pay for here involves trash pickup, Comcast internet service, copier maintenance, any other kinds of maintenance contracts. We completely have taken out, conferences and meetings or any sort of professional development that maybe the town used to support, but we don't really need them to because we do have the formula grant, and that's usually where I pull from. So that's zero, and even postage, I really reduced. We would have split the postage for the newsletter with the town and the formula grant, between the town and the formula grant. But I did keep 1,000 in there, but I did reduce that by a little bit, just because we didn't have to, and I was trying to not only have a more level funded budget, but even trying to cut some expenses. So then also if you move office supplies, food service supplies, and cleaning, I mean, that's limited. Office supplies, I mean, we try to be prudent, try not to just spend willy-nilly, but basically it's what we buy through, yes, Mason. WB Mason, right, I was trying to think of that, and/or Amazon, just, I mean, things we need. Now frankly, things that are program accessories like weights, for instance, that we're talking about, those aren't really office supplies, those aren't, we do that differently, we try to do that through some of the, maybe we have some program overflow, maybe we have some donations, so we go there, or we would go to the formula grant. And we do have donations that, we do have gifts, and we've accumulated quite a few, even going back for the 10 years.
Wow.
And even before, frankly. So we can dip into that and do for some of the program needs. The food service supplies, I do just want to mention, that's 25,000. That line item got added when we were basically opening the building and adding the lunch. And I mean, the idea really was that maybe it was just seed money and it would be temporary, but now it's 3 years in and they are keeping it, and it seems kind of happy to be supporting that program for us, and that's a little unheard of. So the idea that we have a revolving account, money in, money out. So money coming in is our revenue from the lunch. Money out is the food that they purchase, and then there are oftentimes equipments or non-food items that, like the linen service, that would be a non-food item.
Right.
So, I mean, we have regular expenses. At the same time, Fred kind of would like another piece of equipment. Now, the truth is, some people have donated money specifically for the kitchen, and we haven't really had a need yet to use it. If we came up short, for instance, from this line item, or otherwise, we could keep it. But I think, well, it might be more expensive than that, but the truth is, we still can probably support that need through this and what people give us.
I was gonna add, it's, technology, is that through the town or is that through formula?
So, our tech,
Just
depends
where'd you
what
see
you're
that?
at, specifically what you're asking, because it's different.
Well, so
there's
my,
equipment, there's
my
equipment.
senior center, if we were to get
I-
canned, but like anything
I-
to support the tech needs of
No, we pay for that another way, the town doesn't necessarily pay for that.
there's no line.
So the equipment line item is there, and it is cut because frankly, we haven't truly needed to use it. And Mike in IT, or I should say IT, does support the infrastructure for the technology, so he does. In the beginning, I thought I was going to have to carry that, the wireless access points and the security systems and everything else, but in the end, he's kept it, so that takes it out of me. So really, the equipment is really just what we might need operationally. And oftentimes, we've gone to the formula grant for that. But software, in my senior center, for instance, we pay the annual maintenance every year through the formula grant. So there's all, and through the
So
formula
software.
grant, and Zoom through the formula grant, and any subscriptions we've needed, basically, we've done through the formula grant.
Is that typical of the library and, school, you know what I mean, like, do they have, line items that are software.
So, that you see then the total there, the 408, if anybody was to ask you what's the council on aging budget, that's our budget this year, 408,000. Which, I mean, there were times it was 200 and,
20.
yeah,
Well, even in
Yep.
fiscal year '23, it was 263.
so of course well, now if you wanna go beyond, that to the personal services detail, actually. I didn't give myself a whole copy. Is there anything? No, I need more than this. So the next page, I just, not to belabor the salary,
Oh,
but the
personal
personal services detail, just
Yeah.
saying, you will note, when it talks about the positions, director, now assistant director, which is town supported. Jill's position, which actually always was part-time at 25, not always, but it was 25 hours. And then we wanted to make her full-time, so that was some time ago, but so that's been on the formula grant for some years, 10 hours. Not the whole position, but 10 hours. So it makes her full-time, and we take for granted she's full-time, but 10 of that is supported by the formula grant. Outreach is the town. But then you'll see the activities volunteer coordinator position, as you've well known, I think, is, and it has always, since its inception in 2014, been part of the formula grant. Several times, of course, I've written it into my budget narrative that it should be on the town budget, but the years have, just never supported that. So, then we did get, when we wanted just more, if we could get her, so it went up to 30 hours, so those extra 5 hours, 2 years ago, went, or maybe last year, went to the town. So the town is supporting 5 hours of the activities volunteer coordinator position, just saying, that's worth noting. And then also, just to point out, the transportation coordinator position is 50% funded on the GATRA budget, so not necessarily out of the personnel line item. That's always been true, and there's even a little money that's ostensibly supports my salary. Yes, so that's always been there. So I just wanted to make that kind of clear that that's in there, and then you would see if you even went beyond to the next page where the GATRA revolving account is noted, and just that the position's there. Again, it's noted that transportation is 50% funded there. And the drivers are funded by the GATRA budget, they're not on the town.
Okay.
I mean, GATRA is the town, we have but it's a cherry sheet kind of a thing, and something I've never really adequately been able to
So,
talk about.
so Fred and Amy are through the town?
Yes.
Oh, that's-
Yep. Yep, Fred, at one point, he started at 18 hours, he went up to 20, Amy's at 15.
It is
sometimes.
really weird that of all the different staff, that the outreach coordinator would not be covered by the town.
No, the outreach coordinator is.
Oh, it is?
The activities.
Oh, it's the activities, excuse me, I meant the activities coordinator.
Well,
Yeah.
That's the formula.
we could do it, I mean, just to get the position. Of course, you'd say, sure, I'll put it on the formula grant, and I mean, that's been a model in other senior centers, sure, that they have covered
But this
positions
is,
that
but
way.
it's not covered by the town, right? The activities coordinator?
It's
We pay
it's
for
not
it.
paid for by the town.
It is paid for,
No,
but
it isn't.
it's not paid for by the town, that's what I mean, it's like the only one, right?
No, it's, other positions are supplemental.
It is the only one. I mean, the social day program coordinator now, that is, what do I wanna say? She's paid through the revenue that we get for the program.
Right.
Technically,
That's
we were
sort of
offered to pay it
self-sustaining.
through a donation, which would have been, it was perceived to be temporary, even though the donation was very large. So they didn't wanna necessarily have to rely on that, so it's self-funded, basically, that's what the money that comes in pays for, is that.
That's great, but that's self-funded.
Yep. So, and then, each year, of course, they ask risks and challenges, so they're certainly different now than they used to be. And I could, ad nauseum talk about parking, but they know about it, so it's on there, but, and the shared availability with the food pantry, blah, blah. I mean, I do say all that. And then I just let them know what we're up against. Sometimes they're good challenges, but managing enrollments, managing reservations, for instance, for lunch, and it's just a whole new thing that we are having to think of ways to make things easier for the patrons and for ourselves as well, to accommodate the numbers coming in. And we are starting a little something that Jess has put out already, but, you know, trying to make instructor compensation a little bit more consistent if we can, make it match what's coming in for revenue with them when we can, otherwise we do subsidize with the formula grant. But also trying to make it, not to say it's gonna make a big dent in what they're spending, but if they are buying 10 classes, they get one class free, or if they pay, so $50 they get a class free.
Oh, that's
$100
good.
they might get two.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
so
pretty
every 50, they get
A class
$5 off. So it's not, because some classes are 5, some are 6, some are 8, some are 10. So what we thought was just giving them a discount of 5,
$5.
yeah. Which they seem,
How come
so
they're not universal? How come they're not all 5 or all 8?
the market rate for yoga classes, is like, so if we can give a class for $5, we'd like to give it, but if the market rate for a yoga class right now
It's
is higher than
expensive.
$10, so, could even be $15 or $20, so, our yoga instructors would be already operating at lower than the market, so that would tend to be the higher, they ask us for a little bit higher price point in order to at least be competitive.
It evolved, so, you know, it's been a little hard line with the yoga just because of,
How does it work? I mean, so each person that, when the people pay $5, does the instructor get paid based on the number of people that come, or the instructor gets a flat rate for the course? For the-
Most of them, at this point, it's a flat rate with a couple to their advantage if they're maxing out so much that they are getting paid by the person if that's advantageous for them. We do have that, so they can choose that. But when we bring in newer people, we tend to say, oh, like, come in at this rate, start your following. As you get your following and you know, you're with us and you're covering your costs, then they can kind of go.
Go to the other.
Yeah.
So you're encouraging the use of the wallet with
Now
the
we are, yes,
50
we
and
started
5.
today actually, because Marilyn is such a seller. We actually put out the announcement, because it's gonna go in the newsletter as well, in the front page there, about, so the wallet acts like our, right now, our workaround not being able to do an online system. Because if you go into the senior center and you say, here's $100, and then we give you the two $5, we give you $10 off for right now, the incentive. You have $100 in your wallet, it shows up on your account at home when you log into your account, and you can pay for anything you want from that wallet, and it'll show up as paid on our end. If you come into the senior center, and you just say, I wanna use my wallet, we can tick it off. And so it's a way for us to be online paying without everybody
What is
using
it,
cash.
Google Wallet? Is that what you're using?
no,
It's just wallet through my senior center.
my
Oh,
active
My
center.
Active Center.
Oh, it's actually to my senior center.
Yeah,
Oh,
so on our side, it's my senior center.
So what about lunch? Are you gonna
That's-
do
that's
that?
nice.
Lunch?
You can. So it's up to the user. So if the
Yeah.
user wants to
How they wanna
click,
use their wallet, that's
I wanna
nice.
pay for it, you just click wallet, and it goes from.
So this is new though, this was never done before, was
Yes, it was.
The option was there, but it
It's
hadn't
happening.
been used by us as a way to get around the
That
online.
that we don't take credit cards.
And so we're still not taking credit cards for the wallet. People are still writing out a check or giving us
Yeah.
cash, but now they're doing
But
that
they don't
up
have to
front.
have cash in their
Yeah,
hand.
yeah. So
So
it's.
they don't have to keep carrying cash.
Right.
Right.
Which
Good
is,
idea.
helps them, helps us too.
Yeah, instead of handling all that cash.
The tricky part was with Jill, because so Jill acts as the accountant for a lot of this, so we were saying if we can incentivize everybody to do it at the beginning of the month with a little bit of a discount, and that's when the discount gets applied, she's not having to
Like
account for
every
everybody's wallet
day or-
all month. Yeah, she's kind of getting at the beginning for the most part,
Mhm.
setting everybody's wallet up and then letting it run through the month, rather than have a lot of her job now be tracking everybody every day. So that was a little bit of the reason for the incentive to do it the first of the month,
And it is also, just going back to your question on the set amount for the instructors, that is also easier for Jill. I mean, on the one hand, the traditional way to do it had been in person, but, you know, then it is important to note the attendance and have everybody aware, and then the instructors submitting an invoice, you know, are they sure how many they had? So, in the beginning, it was because instructors weren't always making that much money. Now, of course, that's not necessarily a problem, but still, maybe it wasn't what they hoped to make by coming and providing that. So, we try to give them what they need, or what we think they need, and certainly they work hard for it, and
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
happy to have them, we don't wanna lose them.
Yeah.
So we try to do that. So, that's it, and you can look that over, that is the public document, and there were no changes to the budget that I submitted, which is, well, kind of amazing, but like I said, I really did try to be kind of stringent with what maybe we could afford to do otherwise. So, that's technically it for me, although we do also
And so
have.
that was approved at the November town meeting, am I right? Or
No, actually,
Those
God,
two.
no, it'll be
Those two.
approved at the April
March
town
or
meeting.
April? Okay.
But it's gone
Yep.
through the review by
Yep.
the advisory and the select board.
Yep.
in June. So they just put it together in the booklet for the.
Yep. Yep.
And the overall budget, I mean, as I'm sure you've heard, it really involved a lot of cutting on the town administration end. And I see some towns, I was just asked last night, because they might have to ask for an override just to pass the budget. Not for anything, not for any special projects.
Wow.
So we do not have to do that, and it was definitely short, in the beginning. He did a good job.
There is gonna be an override?
No,
No.
another town asked me and had mentioned to me that they might have to do that
Need to balance
themselves.
the budget, yes.
So anyway, before we jump to Joe, well, actually, I guess you could go, and then we could go back to Patty and Steph if you want to go.
Oh, okay. So on activities, I guess the big takeaway for November is when you look at the numbers, you're gonna see October, I think, if I look at overall, is like our big month. So if you think of October as like, it's a big month for the senior center because it's fall, people are back, doing their regular activities, and they're in town, and they're also, we have the health fair, we have a couple other things that I think kind of skew our October numbers. So now you're kind of seeing us come back to normal in November. If you look at like September to November,
Right.
you're kind of seeing like, we're still growing a little bit in the areas, but that's kind of where we're at, versus October's more of an outlier. I mean, I think we're doing a good job with lectures and presentations being kind of timely and current. We had a great artificial intelligence lecture with Kevin Weaver, who's the CEO of an artificial intelligence group. And we've had, like today we had Winston Churchill, that somebody had asked for.
He looked good, too.
Did he really come?
But it was amazing. It was Paul Taylor, who I didn't know was the vice president of the social hospital. And
Oh, really?
he's done like a lot of different things, but his passion is Churchill Society, and Winston Churchill has published articles for the Churchill Society, and he knows his stuff. So he did a wonderful job today. But just to, we have coming up to the Israel versus Hamas lecture, and it's supposed to be more about, what wars are we winning? We might be winning the war, but are we winning the peace? If you look at the last several decades of wars, what are we winning? And I thought that was kind of a nice neutral way to look at some of these complicated topics, but people are interested. Someone approached me today about maybe having a political group that's bipartisan come and they make sure that there's equal number of Democrats, Republicans, and independents in the room in order to have a discussion about hot
Just a
topics.
discussion.
Oh, with
Yeah.
the speakers, really?
So,
Well, you better have fire extinguishers
yeah.
or bourbon.
Well, and these are all like coming at me, so it's just a matter of collecting them and then getting people organized and scheduled, but it's all coming from seniors and kind
I
of.
think that's great that you're getting
Well-
input.
We have I didn't put it on this because it's starting in January, but a man from Hingham, Rick Small, he approached me about teaching a comparative religion class, which kind of touches on it too, because it's motivated by wanting to promote more peace. So he wanted to come at it from the sacred, which he says all the different ways that we've learned to understand religion. And so he is going to start that as an 11-week course in January. Here?
He's from Hingham, but
He's from Hingham, yep. And So then,
Do people need to sign up for the whole 11, or is it drop in?
he's gonna do it in 2 parts, so he's gonna do everything so he calls it the books and pre-books, so everything myths and, creation stories and everything like that, that's the beginning of time, all the way up until then, there's a break, and he'll actually take a break, and then the part 2 will be, when the books, the Torah, the, Quran and the Bible, and studying more of that side of religion. So he split it into 2 5-week sessions, and you can take all of the weeks, or you can take either part, and he'll redo the intro session in part 2 to make sure people have the right vocabulary and understanding of the terms that he's using.
Good. Is it free?
He would like to do it for free or by donation. He said if anybody thinks he's good enough, he just wants them to donate to the senior center.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to the senior center, yeah. Yeah,
That's
yeah, he doesn't want anything. Yeah, so we left out with him, with Rick.
Did he happen to say if he had offered it to him?
Yeah, I was gonna say, did he,
He
he's
did
coming
it
here,
at-
is he doing something about it?
He's done it at other college, I have to look at his resume, he's done it for, so he's been a philosophy professor at, I'm forgetting which college. He's also been an editor to the Boston Globe, and he did their art section.
What's his name?
Rick Small.
Okay.
I can bring his
That's okay, I was just curious.
see his resume, because he did have all his credentials. But he hasn't done it formally at the senior center, but he has done it, I think, at one of the synagogues maybe in here.
Oh,
That's where he taught it.
okay.
Um,
A lot of people go there.
And he says he's very neutral, so there's no, like, he's not going to, he said nobody will actually know even what religion I'm
Yeah, he's not pushing
No,
anything, he's
not
just
pushing it, no.
educated.
Academic, yeah. Oh, culture, Art for Your Mind is still by far, one of our most popular things that we do on a regular basis. And Thanksgiving, there was just a little dip because we only offered it once because it fell on Thanksgiving, our second time.
Yeah.
So that just shows a little dip in the cultural event area. Trips, just in November, we did a nice, it was small, but it was a nice courtyard tea event to the Boston Public Library, the room there, and we have several that will come up in December. We have Christmas Carol this weekend, the Breakers in Newport. We had a trip to MFA to see the Georgia O'Keeffe exhibit. So Joe and Susan and crew have been busy.
In the van.
In the van, yeah, in the van. Lots of adventures.
So you go on all of those? Nice.
Good.
People are enjoying it though, it's really nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And they bring back new
They
ideas.
start out early in the morning and they're enthusiastic and it lasts the whole time. They really have a good time and you can see people that don't know each other. They're buds at the end of the trip. It looks so nice.
Yeah.
And then you don't plan like really how you eat. You kind of how you go into the restaurant in the spot. And I think they really look forward to it.
Yeah, and Joe and Susan and Meryl, just kind of our little internal crew. I mean, not that we won't do the big bus trips, we will if Paul and Hingham want to cooperate with, like, they want to cooperate, but if they want to collaborate with us. But what we've found is we just had so much more flexibility with our own smaller groups, and even to do Breakers and to do MFA, we did two of our vans on a Friday, because when it's not as needed. And it just,
Bus is
Joe,
expensive.
yeah, the bus adds
big
another.
bus.
I know, I do need
50
to
to 70.
report those dates though, before we do them. I need to go to Gap for those dates,
Oh.
unless we're using, well, the ones that we're using the Gap. That's the only thing. Our van can go anywhere.
Mhm.
The Gap vans ostensibly are really supposed to do what
Stay
you know,
local.
they've given them to us for, but as long as I tell them, they seem to think that's okay. As long as we don't take away services from transportation, which naturally we wouldn't.
So Titanic, we're looking at in January, Titanic, there's an exhibit in Boston, and then there's an orchid show in Hyannis, and then we're kind of quiet on trips for the winter because we start to plan the next year. So that's kind of our planning time. But fitness and exercise still booming, still growing still. popular, Elizabeth's chair yoga, Sue's classes, so that's just Friday, continues. Health screening, we had Mike actually here today, our hearing, he could almost do, if he could do another day, I mean, he can take 8 a month, but we are managing wait lists of about, 4 or 5 people, so it's almost like if I wanted to talk to him to see if he could do another day for us, because hearing screenings, and then people coming back and adjusting hearing aids is needed, and it's just a 15-minute appointment or so, but we book up very quickly, and then that's kind of done for the month, so maybe if we could get him in more.
And is that what he's doing, is it literally adjusting people's hearing aids?
Well, first he'll see them for a screening,
Yeah.
and then he'll recommend, and then they'll go out and with insurance and whatnot, or figure, or
Yep.
overcome, they'll buy what they want.
Yep.
Then they'll come back to him and he'll set them up, and then if any tweaks need to be made, he's there for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Who is he?
I don't know.
Mike Schmidt,
Yeah.
he's is at home
Audiologist.
health care, at home health screening.
He came to our
That's
house.
huge.
Oh, yeah.
And my husband never had a hearing test before, and surprise, surprise. So I have the whole spiel, but if you get a contract, and if you need repairs, he does it. After a certain amount of time, it's a fee to come to your house, but not a fee if you bring it to the senior center.
Oh, interesting, so he came to the house, because, we've had Dr. Parker, who has the concierge service, which is intended to be kind of mobile. I didn't realize that hearing would come to your house.
Yeah, and one of the, is a contract with one of the riders, so you save a lot of money,
Wow.
a lot of money.
And,
That's
and
great.
you've liked him, I mean, so.
Yeah, I did.
It's a definite need, I mean, I would say it's something where we're not, like we're providing the service, but we could probably meet the demand more if we want on that one.
I was kind of, from my background, I expected less, they're not a audiologist, the audiologists are PhDs and internships, but he really knows his stuff.
Yeah, good. And then information, so shine appointments, I would say grief group kind of are holding that category right now in terms of it's just very steady. And instructional Bob Jackson's classes for the first time, and ever since I've been reporting, may have been a little bit less than he had, but it might be a little bit of an anomaly because he's usually around 30, and both of his AM and PMs were more about 20 this time. It was the Navy. Was the topic. We did add a felting with Patrice, and she likes about 10 to 12 people, that's what she likes to cap it, but she brings all her supplies, and people have really liked adding the felting. They like that part. So she's been a regular now.
How many did we get yesterday for that?
I think 10. Yeah. That's just, so she's in the Harbor Art Room, and it's just the size she likes. Same with the woman, Diane Leonard, who's gonna come and do the Impressionist painting workshop, 2-day workshop in February, and she's done it in Cohasset, she's gonna do it here, and she said too, she would like 8 to 10 people, so, that's how she thinks she can focus on her craft. And the garden club came, so we had a little bit more recreation, because they came, they did Thanksgiving arrangements tomorrow, they're doing boxwood trees, so that's always like a popular one, we have 25 people signed up for that.
Wow.
Maybe a little bit in November, a little bit dip in lunch and a little bit of lighter men's breakfast on our social events. It just looks like, I don't know for whatever reason, but there was a little bit lighter attendance there. And then I put, we're plus 32 from 2003, but that's really not accurate because there was a lot more people that came through for the FOSS Fair and for some other things that we've been doing, and we're not, Linda and I were talking about, we're not capturing those big community event fair kind of things in terms of traffic. So that number would actually look very different, just even for seniors in the building. And then if we're able to actually track someone who's like, comes to the FOSS Fair, but who's just a kid or, a family member, a guest, so.
So you need the guys that were doing the parking lot with the clickers.
Yeah. Yeah, so this whole fair season, I feel like hasn't been tracked adequately, so the numbers are gonna look low. But that's something to think of.
It's hard to,
Yeah.
do that.
Correct.
Grab
Yeah.
everybody, every
Yeah.
single person that walks in.
Do you have, a camera, that you could count the people that walk in at the end of the day?
You mean security?
At the entrance?
I mean, I guess there is a camera, there is a camera.
Somebody would have to do that.
Yeah, IT does, we don't have view of the camera,
Mhm.
we can get it. I mean, there's the front desk, and I mean, technically, if we had somebody assigned to just sort of counting people, I suppose we could.
So yeah, it's just something so that I put on a note for next year for the season. And also,
Why couldn't you just have one of those, I've done,
That's what I just said.
you know, in the library?
That's
We've
what I
done it a
just-
lot of
But you
times.
gotta have
It's
somebody
pretty
to do it.
accurate.
Yeah. we
yeah,
could.
just at our front desk, even right now, if one or two people at the front desk are gonna be swarmed, you're gonna miss the people. So
Right.
it's just dedicating, like we'd have to
You'd have to have a
dedicate
clicker.
Yeah.
More staff.
A person.
We try, we
With a
just wouldn't
clicker.
jump on everybody.
But, so something to think about to how to track that, and then next holiday season, how to maybe earlier on in the fall advertise that we could do, gift certificates to family members if they wanted to purchase, you know, a year of fitness for your,
Oh.
for a grandparent or your, but a way to gift, fitness or classes,
Programming.
your program.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's
Or lunches.
clever.
Yeah.
Or lunches, yeah, anything.
I mean,
So-
we have done it before, we have
Yeah.
done it before, it's just not, we haven't advertised it before.
Yeah, so
People
if we
have
got
asked
it
and
out,
we've done it.
like in the September, October newsletter, we put it in that, and then people come in and buy it for their families. Men's game nights are back, which has been great, and then also, I've noticed growing in bingo and singo, especially with the holiday, we had some great prizes this time, but Ed's been doing a good job there, and Maureen Dinsmore rejoined us and has been helping with the bingo when John Ross stopped, so. Then it was just a lot about, every Monday, I think, from November through December, we had a fair. So we had a knitting fair, we had the Foss Fair on the weekend, but we've had Storybook Cove. But everybody really loves the space, they love using it for those, for those purposes, something to think about, like if other people would be attracted to that space and even wanna maybe rent the space, or, I mean, it's a very easy way to engage the community, so, that's
How often is it available, that it's not used for program stuff?
Well, during the week when we did, we rearranged those things, so we knew for Storybook Cove and for the knitters, we wanted Mondays as a high traffic day. So it's a good day, if you can get them people in the morning, you hit a lot of classes, you get the lunches, so we just had to move Sue and some classes upstairs, so that worked out. It would probably be more on the weekends, if I was like, if
In
that.
terms of availability.
Yeah, we're not using it on the weekends right now.
Can I just ask one question? On the holiday classic piano concert that's coming up,
Yes.
it says you have to register to attend. Is there a limited number of people that can come?
I mean, Archie's been with us so many, everybody loves him, he usually gets about 50, 40.
The reason why I'm asking is because I have my grief group on that day, and it's our little Christmas gathering, and then we're going down to lunch. So I just, I mean, I would love to be able to say if anyone wants to stay.
I think because it's right after lunch, basically, we can open the wall, and there'll be the
So
dining
would-
tables,
Would I
which,
have to register them, I guess is my question.
Yeah,
It's a
that
good
helps
idea.
Jim have a seat, like, so Jim comes and says how many people, and then we lay it out. So right now, without opening, we can fit, not with the piano necessarily, we could fit like 75 or so. So we're probably right now at maybe 50, so that would be fine. And if we went more, we could open the room.
but you
Okay.
should, if you can.
Yeah, I know, I'm leaving to go to a competition, so I'll have enough time to.
But
But I
Archie's been back several times, and he's come out of retirement for us. He went into retirement and then he's back, so.
No, I just think it would be a nice thing to offer to them, not all
Yeah,
of them make it all.
absolutely.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. So so that's just upcoming for December. I didn't really go into January, but next week we do have a little bit of something happening every day, which is nice before the holiday. So.
What's the WSUB?
Whoever shows up.
Oh,
They're bluegrass, you know, little country, little this, little that, and there could be 16 of them. I mean, they either
Yeah.
come, they're either,
Could be 5 of them, could be 8 of them, could be 12.
but they like coming here, they like coming here too, so it usually is a full quorum of the group.
Yeah, so
And actually, my other group is on Tuesday the 17th, they could go to the sing-along. Have a whole thing going on there.
yeah, so that's, I don't know, any other questions?
Anybody have any questions for Jess?
Oh, a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will get you for the next one, I will get a consolidated volunteer update. I've been, now that, well, I will be doing the text work off, but then also just reevaluating our volunteer group. Nothing's, much has changed in that group. I just wanted to make sure everything's up to date for their hours, and it's just a bookkeeping right now.
Okay.
Did you mention the newcomers, is there any takers?
The newcomers that Kelly's doing?
Yeah, once a month?
That's Kelly.
Oh, Kelly, okay.
It has been limited, but I think, you know, it could catch on still. I think there are people who would take advantage of it, who just needs to stay with it and
Yeah.
make them, you know, advertise well enough so people see it.
I think we can target them, I mean, we know the 51 that,
Mm.
we can look at, for instance, the 51 that Linda pulled up today, and we could send out something to them. Do more of like an invitation versus just be in the newsletter, and
Mhm.
anybody catches it, come, we can do more of a, you're a newcomer, come get you.
Yeah.
So those are good thoughts for the new year.
As a matter of fact, yes, if you're all set. we're good.
I'm all set.
So Kelly, you'll just know from the outreach report, I don't have to delve into it in too much detail, but, you know, all those categories on that front page, and really, I think people are calling her for a lot, anything, everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really wide and varied in how many things she's probably helping people with. Certainly, home care requests or requests for resources, I guess I should say. Wellness checks, you know, working with the social services group, the social workers, they have either brought her or she's asked to bring them for a few different seniors who've had needed wellness checks. You know, some assistance with housing, and she and Stephanie are both still visiting housing once a month, which is good, and I think that also is catching on and been helpful.
I think that's another situation where you just gotta be there.
Do, and they do like, I think even having the two of them has increased some
Yeah.
of the interest in what we can talk about. She's got some clients that she does, you know, sort of manage case-wise for various reasons, so anyway, she's busy without a doubt. And certainly has some ideas, and one is, and I think must be going into the newsletter, so just having a little bit more of a group, not just the newcomers, but another group that would be for people interested in what outreach services might be available. So instead of just everybody with single appointments, to really publicize that she would meet, I guess she's going to do it the second Thursday of the month, but that they could come in and ask questions and find out what the benefits might be, or where they might get help with this, or how they, you know.
Kind of like what they do, the senior center? I mean, the outreach.
Kind of like what they do with the housing, but with just instead of somebody dropping in or, you know, asking for an
Calling
appointment,
or
or
whatever.
individually asking, maybe getting the word out just a little bit more collectively. So I think it's a good idea. I think it could catch on, we will see. So her numbers, obviously you can see, are up. And also for transportation, so I was just noting that, I guess of our 348 rides completed, 264 are out-of-town medical, and that's 75% really of the rides. So even though we do bring people here and otherwise locally, the bulk of the rides certainly are
Can I
out-of-town
go back to,
medical.
I'm just,
Oh, that's
what,
outrage, sorry.
yeah, what, open and filed mail,
She
I mean,
does
are we literally
support some
getting called
people,
to, for
well, we
from
have
people
people who are
saying.
low vision,
Yeah,
so,
yeah, yeah, no, that's why I'm asking.
yes,
Yeah.
we do,
Can
she
we,
does,
can somebody come over and open my mail for me?
yes.
Wow.
Or they
Or
could be
they
in,
brought it
Or they
here.
brought it here, okay.
or a low vision group, it could be a low vision.
Yep.
So
Okay.
low vision was 0, but male is up, so those could be different.
Yeah.
Well, the low vision group is different, and I'm not actually sure why that's there as a
I
category.
just don't know if I've
There,
ever
but
seen that category.
We would take
Yeah,
people
no,
to the
no,
low vision
good.
group in Hingham,
Mhm.
we don't have a low vision group, though we have our. I haven't heard about people going to that lately, as a matter of fact, but maybe they can. Anything else?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
All right. Again, back to transportation, I just mean, so the bulk, and, you know, Joe is really down to 2 days a week, and he spends most of it, if not for a trip, going into Boston. We got Tom to go into Boston too, which is helpful, because we need to be quick. So Wanda's more on the, we're gonna do more of the local stuff. And also Shop Hop, she scheduled them, I don't know if a lot of people are taking advantage, not just of the regular supermarket shops, but a little bit out of town, people might say they wanna go to Market Basket, certainly Christmas shopping, we tried to make that available.
Yeah.
Not a tremendous, number of people taking advantage of that, but still, it's there and it's something, and so she's been able to keep up with everything and doing a great job too.
Yeah, and Stephanie, and I don't know if it's reflected here, somewhere embedded here, but the trips, so she helping on the Friday trips and always being available to coordinate Joe, and, like today she coordinated, the people who were going to the Christmas Carol on Sunday, you know, calling, scheduling and rides, because that's, you know, so we collaborate with that, so she's,
Okay.
maybe we could add that
Mhm.
in here as a trip support.
Great. Anybody have any questions on transportation?
No, I don't.
Thank you. You don't? No, okay, good.
And so, finally,
Yeah, so finally, well, I'm gonna skip forward, I don't have anything from, Friends of Scituate seniors, because Elaine
yeah,
was
she's-
under the weather tonight, I think, and I didn't hear anything from Karen Campbell. We don't wanna put her on the spot, but we're pleased to have Kenzie Vanderbrook here, who's going to become our new liaison with South Shore Elder Services.
Yes, and they actually voted me in at their last meeting, which was Tuesday, I think.
Right.
And I will not attend a meeting until January, so I don't have anything to report.
I figured that.
Yeah.
But that's nice, they put you through, you know, a little bit of vetting.
It was
I mean,
rigorous, I
it
have to
was.
say. I met
I
with
didn't
Donna
expect that.
Shikoa, and we met downstairs for like an hour, and if we had had more time, we would have talked longer. It was great. And then they had me come over to headquarters in Braintree, and I met with Ren Myers, who is their strategic person, and we met for 2 hours.
Jeez.
And he explained virtually everything that I had questions about, which were many. But I have a background in doing social services and medical services and those and a lot of policy and planning. And so I don't have a big learning curve to get started. So I'm really hopeful that we'll be able to just hit the road running, you know, and if there are any issues that you have that you need me to bring to them specifically, then just give me a call.
That's really good.
Or, I know you probably don't have my telephone number, but
Well,
you
we'll
can
make sure,
always
yes,
get
they can
it
come
from
to us,
here.
of course, yes.
Um,
No, I'm sure they're very happy to have you get back on.
I'm happy
That's great.
too. I mean, it's a way for me to use my experience
Yep.
in a way that's very specific and will, I think, benefit the town and the seniors in town. And who knows, maybe will benefit South Shore Elder Services as well, because I've never worked in Massachusetts except to teach. And so for me, I'm bringing experience from other states, other communities, and I worked in Chicago, so I have a lot of big town experience. And it's different. I mean, it's just different, and you come at things from a different way because you're just juggling so much politics and policy. I mean, it's just, I can't tell you how insane it is.
We look forward to hearing your take on it once we get.
Yeah, we want, I mean, it's a two-way.
Yeah,
Communication.
exactly.
You're not just-
I'm really excited
Yeah.
about it.
So
I mean,
Kinsey-
I'm hoping, I mean, I don't know about the grant programs that they have,
Mhm.
but I'm hoping that there'll be an opportunity for me to present our issues from the
Yep.
Scituate side.
Good.
And bring back to
Exactly.
you know,
What's going
what
on there?
is available and what we can do and what fits nicely with, you know, the 5-year plan and, the accreditation plan and, you know, bring that back to Scituate. I don't know when you guys would have time to do it, but it seems to me that, you know, money is money. And if you can get money to do the things that you wanna do, then this is the way to go.
Yeah.
You know? And I know that they're gonna be hurting too, because their money's a pass-through from the state, and the
State
state has
budget.
not been terribly generous, although you expect them to be, and to be able to get things done, but apparently they don't,
They even passed their
do
budget.
as well as they could do,
And
even
they
though
do
they're,
that.
you know, we have one group totally in control, and you expect them to sort of be leaning toward, social programs at the very least. But apparently, there's not gonna, as far as I know, there's not gonna be a big increase, so, you know, it's going to be doing more with the same money.
So just a couple of questions. So when you first introduced yourself when we were going around, you said something about being on the board. So are you,
I am the Scituate person. I don't know whether I don't think every
As the
town has
liaison
a
to the South
person,
Dakota Services.
but they specifically asked for a Scituate person.
interesting?
It is an advisory board of service, yes.
No, it's not the advisory
It's
board,
not.
it's the
Board
other,
of
the
directors.
big board, it's the board of directors.
Okay.
Cause I asked specifically what board they were recruiting for, because I didn't know. And it was the board of directors.
So you're now on the board of
I am
directors?
now a member
Of the board of
directors of South Shore
Oh,
Elder
that's
Services.
great.
I know next to nothing.
Don't tell them that.
That's okay.
Because really, I haven't attended a meeting, and I haven't seen any minutes from their
So you don't
previous
really,
meetings.
you haven't even had a
Yeah.
chance to set up like what your goals would be?
No,
being
not
part
at
of
all. I mean, and I think that will come with, you know, meeting the other people on the board and seeing what their
Sure.
agenda looks like and, you
Great.
know, where we can fit into that, and where I will fit into it.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be really good. I'm very excited about it. I'm very pleased they actually voted me in.
Good.
Well,
Thank you
actually,
for
it's
taking
good
it
for
on.
Yeah.
us.
We're happy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have any questions for us, you just need to ask.
No,
We wanna make sure her email is on
Yes, I'll
our
let
you know.
distribution
it is.
to make sure,
We
okay.
email, yeah.
Was that previously also on the board of directors or an advisory board?
You know, we're gonna have to check that, I mean, I'm not positive,
Joan?
I guess.
I thought Joan was on board director.
Yeah, she was on the board, I'm taking Joan's place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And big shoes, I gotta tell you. Let you
Yeah.
know.
School job, that's great.
So,
Well, welcome, thank you for swinging in tonight. Let's,
I'll be back.
we'll get it going, yeah, sounds good.
Second Thursday.
Yeah, on my
January,
calendar already.
Yeah,
Well, I will get you the paperwork you need about,
All right.
the meetings that are scheduled and everybody's
Great. Thank you
information.
so much.
thank you. Does anybody have any other issues, business, comments?
No, Merry
Do I have-
Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas to all. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Very good, thank you everyone.
So
All right.
so it's the 16th.